Okay, let's pray first. Father God, we thank you that tonight we can come again to study how to uh, deal with different situations, different people, how to communicate better. Help us to learn something from you and from this class so we can serve you better. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So again, each team will have to present 3 projects. You can either work it yourself or you work at a team. That depends on you. And the 3 projects is, the first one is how you deal with someone younger than you or less seniority than you in situation of work. In the second situation is you deal with someone in your level, age or position. And the third situation is dealing with someone higher than you, older than you, have more seniority than you. And you need to find the problem or some situation that you need to work with that person. So the whole purpose is you can learn the skill how to solve the problem, how to work with someone different from you, and try to make it more effective than the past. And the whole thing is, how can you use the skill you learn in class to make your cooperation with those people better? You know how to talk with different group of people, how to work with different group of people, and how to plan for a better work situation, and how you deal with problem that you face when you work with different group of people. Okay, and I say that if you join a group, maybe you can divide the project for different person in your team to do on one of the project. So you don't need to do all 3 by yourself. So it's good that your team have 3 people. So each one take one. If you have less than 3, now you have to work harder. If you have 4, maybe someone can join or help with another one. And maybe in 2 more weeks, we will start presenting what you have done. Now you see that you need to present 3. And how many of you? Maybe 8, 9, 10 people. So it means that 30 projects. But it might not take a lot of time because when you know the system, you know the pattern, you can go very fast. I want you to start with who that person is. All the information about the age, gender, education, position, everything that you know, the background of the person or the team that you have to deal with. And then what is the problem? What is the situation? What is the project or the plan that you try to work with that person or that team? And then what problem you encounter, what difficulty that you have. And then you have a plan how to solve the problem or how to work it as smooth as you can. And I want to see the result. When you try something, some plan, it work or not, or that person, that team accept your proposal or not. If they accept, when you're going to start and you try it out, or they say no. Now, what they think, what the next step, how to do the thing. So I also want to get your feeling that you feel comfortable working with those group of people or that person or not, and find out why. What the problem that you don't feel comfortable, and how you go to solve that situation. Okay, you have question on the project that you're doing?
I do have a question, Ajahn.
Okay.
My question is that when the person we talk to don't have that problem, so meaning that we make the problem, right? Make that a problem, or is that have to be actual problem?
Okay, if you have no problem, you still need to give a plan. If you want to work with that person, you need to have a plan, new project to work with that person. So you need to have some kind of project to work with that person. So you can find out how you work together. And they understand, they accept, they're going to try. You need to have some kind of project that you work with that person. So you have problem or some situation that you need to solve. So you cannot just pick someone that out of the blue, someone that you don't know or never work with, because you don't have problem and you don't have any situation to work with. You need to find someone to work with you in some kind of project. Someone that you already work with or someone that you plan to work with. So this is all about.
Ajahn, do we have to put the name for real name, or just can we make?
No, you don't need to put
just
a
make up name. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Make
can
up name, right? Yeah.
We don't need to know the real name of that
Okay.
person. We don't
Thank
need
you. Yeah, that's all I want to know, because it's so maybe it's some name it might be so sensitive if we mention name. Yeah, just make up. Yeah, thank you.
Ajahn, in the past we have dealt with a lot of different problems, and sometimes we wish that we should deal it differently. So something that some experience that we have in the past, is it also good to put that down on paper? And
it's possible if you think back in some situation that now you feel that you want to correct what you have done in the past, and you can learn from your mistake or what you want to change. If you face the same situation, what you're going to do now? You need to present that in the past, how you deal with the situation and how it come out. And now you want to change that. If you have a chance, what you're going to do? And you think that new way is going to make a better result. You can use that situation too.
Ajahn, is that only for Christian people or unbelievers?
Anyone.
Okay. Okay.
Your boss, your company, your co-worker, people at church, anyone. But as I say that you need to have 3 different situations, 3 different level of relationship.
I have in all three, Ajahn, in all 3 categories. So I can, I gotta pick one. Yeah.
Okay, but if you pick one, it means that you need to have your team who pick another one. And in your team, not everyone can pick the same level though. Each one need to pick different level. Mean that if you have 3 people, each one pick one, but one is someone younger, less seniority. Someone pick someone in your same level, or another one had to pick some with seniority, a lot more than you. So don't pick the same thing, because you don't learn anything. We want all of you pick different situation, different level of people.
Hey, Ajahn Pun and Kat, we worked out one, we discussed on Monday, okay?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have a team, good. If you don't, you can work all by yourself if you think you can handle all 3 different situations. And in around 2 weeks, we will start presenting. So you better finish one real quick or start talking about what you've done in your project real quick, because we might have 4 or 5 more time before the end of semester. And all of you need to present together, I think going to be 30 projects. So each week we might have to present how many? Maybe 6 projects a week.
So John, each person have so each course, each person has to present 1 project, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have 3 people in your team.
Right.
If your team just you, it means that you have to present 3.
Mhm.
But I think it's not going to be long. You just present the person, the situation, the plan, the problem, and the solution, and how you feel, why it doesn't work, and what you think that your suggestion for the future. Okay, any more questions about the project that you're working on? So you might have to find time to work with your team. At least decide each one want to do what and combine your work together. Okay, in 2 weeks, we will start the presenting your project. So, okay, any more question? If not, let me I got to let's study chapter 9 tonight. Chapter 9 is build rapport with almost anyone. So what that mean? It means that make friends. Whoever you work with, your boss, your coworker, some of your supervisor, if you try to be their boss all the time, or you treat someone as your boss all the time, that kind of relationship might not help much. But they offer that if you can make friends with people who are higher than you, and people in your same level, and even people under your supervision, instead of boss and employee, leader and follower, they say that the best team always friend. It doesn't mean that if you are friend, you cannot supervise them or they don't respect you. But it just means that people feel more comfortable working with you because you're not trying to control them. You're just trying to help them. If you are the supervisor or manager a lot higher than them or older than them, and you make yourself to be their friend, they feel a lot better that you not just try to use them, but you just want to help them. So how you do that? Well, someone just say that, well, I can make friends just with someone I like or someone similar to me. But I cannot make friends with someone a lot younger than me or under me or different from me. Now, can you answer that person? Is that true? You can be friends just with a few people that's similar to you, like the same thing that you like. But in fact, we found out that if you try, if you care enough, you can make friends with almost anyone. But well, still, how deep is the relationship is another thing. Some you can make a very deep and lasting relationship, friendship, but some you might just a little bit relationship and not last long. Why? Because in order to go deep and last forever, it needs a lot more than just try to be nice. They need a lot more in many things. And rapport, not just me say that, oh, we work together, we are friends, but you connect with that person emotionally. So that means that it's not just say that we are co-worker, but you feel that you are related to one another in some way. Mean that you can feel their pain or you can feel their hurt and you can care about what they feel. That means rapport. It's not just co-worker. It becomes teamwork. Deeper than that, it means that you take part in each other's life a lot more. And if you want to ask the question, why it's so important? If you say this is a company, everyone go to work, get paid and go home. Yes, that is one level. But the most successful company always have workers who work as a team and care for one another so much. And that the success of the team comes from that. Because everyone feel that our success, our failure affect everyone. And we care for everyone deeply. Now, you might say in the sense that almost everyone feel to be part of a family. And how you go to that point? I don't know, you ever work in any company that all your teamwork feel that way, they are part of a family? Well, and now it gets even closer. How about your church? Did everyone in your church feel that they are part of a family? That whatever happened to one person affect everyone, and everyone hurt when someone hurt. If your church cannot feel that way, now you have big problem. We don't talk about just company, we talk about our church now. How you help your people build rapport. But this is the general sense of business, use the word rapport. But for Christian, for the church, we use family or part of the body. So it's even deeper. It's not just friends who come to care for one another, but it becomes part of one another. More than a family, you are part of the body. Now, why people don't feel that way, that they are part of the body? They just feel that they are a stranger or someone who come by sometime and nobody care. We cannot let that happen in church, that someone feel that they are not part of the church. They just come and nobody care. And if people feel that way, we have big problem. How you feel that they are part of the body? Care for them. And we want to help them. And this is a big thing that we need to think and ask ourselves all the time. Now, for example, if someone walk into your church on Sunday, what you do with that? You go to shake hand and say, thank you for coming to visit us, and we hope you come back again. Well, that's normal. We talk that all the time. But can you change that talk to be better? Not just say thank you, hope that you come back again. We need to think some better way to make people feel that they're already part of it and they need to come back even nobody say anything. How you make them feel that this is their family, this is part of them, that they need to be there every Sunday. And that is in the sense that we try to talk in this chapter. In business, they always use the word leopard, but for Christian, we need to talk about part of the body, part of the family. Well, a lot of times they advise you, we don't know one another. And in this society today, sometimes we cannot trust strangers. Before you can trust someone, you need to know them enough. Before you put your trust and your friendship so deep with someone, you need to know something about them first. Now they say that something you don't need to talk, something you don't need to say, but observing and feeling can help you decide. Sometimes you cannot go too fast by inviting strangers to your house or to be with your family until at least you know something about them. But still, this is why you need to build connection to know them, who they are, where they come from, what connection they have that you know. And that can help better. Well, you observe them, how they react, and you learn about body language too, that they're sincere or not. But you know that a lot of people who come to church with bad intention. Why they come to church? Because they know that Christian is friendly. And a lot of time Christian is not judging people and don't suspect people. Well, that too. But at the same time, we need to protect our family too, and especially our children. So it's good to know the person, but friendship can be built even on the first meeting. And you can learn to know one another more and more. And most churches will check the person by where did you go to church before, what church you go. And that can help you know better about the person. If he go to church regularly on a certain church that you know the people, and that is the good way to check. It's like when you apply for job or apply for house, apartment, what they do, they want references. What they want your reference for? Well, they check your background, that you are good people or not, and you talk about yourself, you are trustable or not, you are on time, you pay well. So they check everything. You apply for job, they check your references. You apply for apartment, they check everything, they check. And how about church? You don't know that now the law requires that church need to check background of everyone who volunteer to work with children under 18. It's required by law. You cannot just say, oh, I trust him. No, you need to check the background. And by law, you need to send them to scan their finger, and they check the record with the FBI. It's a law. Anyone who work with kids under 18 in your church, even anyone, this is the law now. Why the law come into church and make the church do it? Well, because in the past few years, a lot of abuse happened. And all the priests, all the church workers are sued. Because in the past, we don't check. We just trust people who come to volunteer. And it looked like they're nice people. He want to help, but we don't know. Now, when those situations happen, it means that we don't trust anyone anymore? No. We just have to be careful. Anyone we meet, we don't know them well, we need to be careful. We need to check. But still, anyone we still can be friends in different level. Why? Because God still wanted to help them, even they have bad experience or they not intend good. We still can help them. And by being good friend, that's the beginning, the start. You cannot work with anyone if you cannot be their friend or cannot build some kind of relationship. So it's our responsibility as a church, as a believer too, that we have to try to be friends with everyone. Not just a few that we like, but with everyone, even people don't like them or don't trust them. We still need to be friends with them. Now, this is some suggestion that what we should do in order to make ourselves available. They say that some kind of, this is some psychological advice. They say that look at the other person for approximately 60% of the time. So why they say that don't look at 100% of the time? In our culture, we always say that look at the eye, in the eye when you talk. Yes, but they say that if you do that 100% of the time, it makes people uncomfortable and it's too much. So they say that 60% of the time, and then you look at something else or look around, it makes people more relaxing. But when you concentrate on them 100% of the time, you put them on spot and they don't feel comfortable after a while. So they say that in order to make them feel good or make them feel more relaxing, stop looking at them all the time. Relaxing sometimes, that's the first advice. Second advice, smile. Smile always helps. And most people feel more comfortable to talk with or work with people who smile all the time. Thailand is so famous and have been called the land of smile. And make people feel comfortable to come to join, to talk, to spend time in Thailand because of the smile. I don't know other countries have that nickname or not. Maybe the Thai government sell Thailand so much by that smile. But it worked. And number 3 advice is call their name. Ask their name and keep calling their name. People love to hear their own name. Not just you, but John or Sam or James. People feel that you really care and you really pay attention to their name, even you met for the first time. They can trust you even more when you go directly to their name instead of you or he or she. Well, I know in some culture it's not so polite keep mention name, but in most situations, names still make people feel good about you. If you know their name, call their name, mention their name, and that make things smooth. And they say avoid contentious topic. What that mean? Well, in American culture, they say that it's a no-no. When you talk with people, don't talk politics, don't talk religion. Why they say that? Because people have strong emotion or conviction in their politics and in their religion. And you can cause a lot of conflict or problem lies away. So in American culture, they always avoid talking politics and talking about religion. But we Christian, we cannot stop talking about our faith and Jesus. So how you carry on that? You know that in many situations, you cannot mention religion with your friend in workplace, in government organization, even in school. Why? Because it's against the law and make people uncomfortable. So this is something in America that we never heard of in other countries. But still, we can find a way to share our life with people instead of mention religion. It's just sharing your life or what happened to you. But in general, American always talk about weather or some other thing else that make people feel comfortable, more fun, relaxing, about food, about traveling, about weather. Weather is the more topic that all Americans will mention when they first met. Well, but as a believer, as a Christian, we have to go deeper. But to make people feel comfortable, first is so important. And then they say try to show empathy. Well, everyone have feeling, everyone have situation or problem. And they can feel that you care about what happened to them. Or you observe something and you pay attention to that or mention that. And that's the way that you show that you care for whatever, like you say them sweat or they are too hot or they're so tired or whatever. You offer empathy, offer help. And that will help your relationship getting better, almost right away. And another thing they advise it, build on other person's idea, mean that when people start talking about some topic, you don't change the topic right away, but continue with what they're talking. Add on or ask more question or suggestion, but don't try to change the topic right away because people don't feel that you care about what they're talking about. So don't change the topic right away, but keep on, ask them more. And the best way to help people feel a lot more comfortable is tell them, tell me more. Tell me more about what you're talking about. I want to know more. You know that most people love that when they hear that you want to hear more or you want them to share more what they're talking about. It means that you care and you really want to know what they work, what they pay attention to. So always don't forget to tell them, tell me more. Share with me more. Let me know more. So this is a good first good sentence that you need to remember. Be non-judgmental towards the other person. Don't try to judge other people, what they do, what they have done. Even you don't agree with them, you don't tell them that I don't agree with you, or you did bad thing. No, don't say that. If you want to be friends, you don't judge people. We are different, and we all have different thinking, different idea, different way. Even it's not what you like or what you agree with, that their personal decision. So friend will not cross over something. You don't need to agree with each other in everything, but a few things that important, you need to be in agreement. But a lot of personal life, you cannot agree with everything, what your friend did or what your friend have. And if you want to be a good friend, some of the personal thing is not so important to you and should not for you to deal with. So this is something that the advisor okay, they say that advise that don't try to show that you know everything. You don't know everything. And just tell them that you don't know. You don't have the answer sincerely. And if you make mistake, always ready to say, I'm sorry, I make a mistake. That keep friendship last a long time. When you never accept that you make mistake, now have big problem. We all make mistake all the time, but you need to be sincere to accept that. It's my mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. I make mistake. Or I don't know the answer. And offer compliment, avoid criticism, and be polite. So this is 3 more advice. Mean that compliment mean that, oh, you do well. I'm so glad that you have been successful. So when they do something good, always compliment them, your friend or your co-worker or your team, and don't criticize. It's not your job to criticize your friend or your team or your co-worker. Let someone else do that if you want to keep your friendship. And be polite. It's always help. I know in some culture, some teenager, they don't talk polite. And they feel that that is the way, the culture, the language. But to be polite, it works with everyone, every culture, every language, every level of friendship. The person who is polite always have a lot of friends and make new friends all the time. So don't think that if I'm so straightforward, I can make a lot of friends. No, it's not true. So this is some advice from expert in psychological field, in a business field. And I think we can apply to church. For us as a Christian leader, we can learn a lot from them, how they do all these things successfully and how in the business world, and to be happy. And we as a believer, a Christian, what we can learn from them. We can use a lot of what they have tried out and what they have experiment on in many levels before us. So now I will stop here a little bit and come back to you for your question or reflection. So how you think that making friends is so important in your ministry? And do you think that you're so successful making friends with everyone? Or you have problem with certain group of people?
Ajahn,
Yes.
I heard somebody say that the bird that can fly longer or higher always have more feather. Is that meaning that when we have more friends, better, right?
Yes. The one who have the most friend is the one who are the happiest one, the successful one. You see, friend, today we use the word connection. They in business or in politics, they always talk about connection. But in fact, it's just about friends.
And I learned that we do have a lot of friends, and some friends really care, but some friends, they're just like ignorant or don't care at all. Doesn't matter how many times you help them, it just seems like they forget, or I just don't know how we deal with that. Continue to make friends with that person, or just like slow down.
You see, as I say that we try to make friends with everyone, but not everyone going to be your best friend. Just a few. But our job, we still have tried to make friends with everyone. But in the end of the day, you still have a few good friends. And you can try to find out why. If, for example, you try to make friends with 100 people, you might end up just a few good friends. And you always have to come back why. Out of 100 friends you have, how many best friends in that 100? Well, you're lucky, you might have 2 or 3. A lot of people don't have even 1. Why is that? Well, they say they have so many answers. I heard a saying. They said, I heard some guy saying that to find a wife is a lot easier than find a best friend. You agree with that? Maybe that's from the saying of the guy who married 4 times, but never have a good friend. At the same time, I heard some guy who said that my best friend is my wife or my spouse. Now, I don't know, you consider your spouse is your best friend? So you need to define first what is the best friend is.
I think your spouse, your best friend, Ajahn. They know all about you, and you know all about them.
And they still can live with you.
Yeah.
I think it's more than a best friend.
Yeah, the Bible says your spouse is part of you. Another half of you. So the chapter tries to help us that in order for us to be really effective, we need to make friends. Find a way to make friends with everyone. but I know in different level of relationship. Now, how you think that a guy who don't want to talk and don't want to care, make friends with anyone can be a good preacher, good pastor?
Probably not. Selfish, maybe they cannot make friends, right? Right, John?
Some people say that I just preach the word of God. I not come here to make friends or to care about people. You know that in the prophet in the Old Testament time don't have friends. They just make enemy anywhere they go. They don't care about friendship. They just care about to proclaim the words of God. And everywhere they go, people try to kill them. Now you think that is for us too?
I think that serving God is serving the people.
Hmm.
And if we have no friend, we don't know people, how can we serve?
Hmm.
Yeah, Kamsa is right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at all the prophets in the Old Testament time, they don't care about anyone. They just come to do their job. They don't care what you feel, what you think. They don't care.
That's right. That's right too, John. If God choose you, if God want you to go, just go and give the message to the people, and your job is that you gotta give God give that to you, and you go and you just do whatever your job. You don't care about people.
But I think there is another way, though. You still need to do what God called you to do. But in the same time, Jesus said that a lot of people misunderstand God because Jesus still have mercy on people. So that's the model that Jesus showed us. You still have to be faithful to the words of God, but at the same time, you care for the people. You show them love.
Yeah, we care. I think we care for them. But what we don't care is that whatever people criticize us, we don't care about that, and because we care of the people. We don't care about what they gotta say about us. But we care about loving, about serving them, right?
Yeah, the best model is we learn from Jesus, how he treat the people, how he do it. That is the model that we need to learn. Jesus go everywhere to make friends. He go where the sinners are. He went out to meet Matthew in his home. Nobody go because the Jews say they are the tax collector, they are the sinner. But Jesus went there. Jesus went to see Zacchaeus, another tax collector, that people hate them. People save the positive from death. So that's the model. We need to try to make friends with everyone so we can help them. Now, another good question for you. Can we help someone even we don't care to be their friend?
Yes.
Well, it might be like all the rich people who give money to the church, but they don't care about the poor or the sick or the one who have problem. They just give money. And they say, I do my part, I do my job.
They're right too, John, because the money is part of the helping,
And you think that's good enough?
Well, you need to do more than that. You got to show love and passion and care. If you follow the model of Jesus, you still love the person that you cannot love. I mean, nobody loved them. But, you take Jesus' model is that even though that person is really hard, not lovable, but you still love them.
Yeah, Jesus will show us a lot of things. You see that to share what we have is the first step, but it's not the final step. We need to start with something, but we cannot stop there. A lot of rich people give money, yes. You remember when Jesus told his disciple about people who give money to the temple? The rich people give a lot. The poor widow give just a little bit what she had. And Jesus said that she give the most. Why?
Because the rich people, they give just for their, people for the fame, I think, for to be noticed. But the poor woman, she only have one. That's all that she have. She gave all to God. So she give more.
Well, that one point, she give all she has. The rich give what left over they have.
Yeah.
The widow give all she had. But part of it, but more than that, why a widow give, since she herself not have enough? And why the poor give, the rich give? Now you look at their heart. The woman, the poor widow give because she know how suffering is. She know how hungry is. She know how people who poorer than her suffer. So she give with love. She give with her heart. But the rich never know what is hungry is. They never feel suffering. They give what they left over to show people and to feel good. So now you see that not just the amount of money, but their heart is so different.
John, I think the rich people give to the church is similar to us when we have some donation take to the goodwill.
I just felt an earthquake. Did you feel something? Maybe just my area. We just have an earthquake.
Yeah, I don't feel anything over here yet. Yeah. Maybe it's like they have a small earthquake, like 3 point or 2 point, something like that.
Yeah, normally I never felt my house shaking.
Last time I felt a little bit, like I shook the house. I can hear that. Just a little bit. The one in is at by the Gilroy, right?
Well, when I use the story of the poor widow and the rich people, I just want to show the difference, not just the amount of money, but also the heart, the intention. That's so different. So the story relates to us. A lot of time we try to be friends with everyone, but it's just a gesture that we show them. But we don't care much. So what the main difference Jesus wanted to do is we really care for people. And that make a big difference. It's not just amount of money or what we try to give them, but how we care about them. And that relates to why we want to be their friend, or why we want to be part of their life, so we can help them or can work with them. Now it relates to people to your church. Now you see the different level of commitment. And you can tell that why this guy commits so much and this person don't have commitment at all. The problem is not mainly about them. It's just about how much they care, how much they get involved, and how much commitment they have to start with, how they feel to be part of you or not. So how you change the dynamic that way?
If the person like that, Ajahn, you cannot really change them. Like they don't have a commitment. Well, they say they have a commitment, but later on, either they cannot, they say cannot help themselves, and so the commitment is not there. So how can you deal with those people? I just let them be whatever they want.
Okay, I have a friend who start his ministry this way. He going out and make friends and help people before he bring them to church. So it means that they're already friends. And then they come to church because of his friendship. So that is one way that he built his church. He going out, make friends with people everywhere and invite them. And they come because his friendship. But most of us just invite all strangers to church and hope that we can make friends after that. Now you see what a different way. You make friends first and then bring them in, or bring them in first and try to make friends. Which way you think that is better?
I think I like your way better, John. Like when you start your church, you start going out and teaching, be friends with other your members, start with two family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you start your church, and you become, and later on, more people want to come. So friendship is the best way to go. Like Jesus went to all those tax collectors. Those tax collectors, they know that they're sin. They know that they did wrong, but they know that none of the Jews like them. That's why Jesus went to them. Same thing to Jesus went to the woman in the well. The Samaritan woman, just to talk to her and help her and try to help her as much as he can. So I think solid friendship is the best way to go, like Jesus did.
Yeah, this is the model Jesus did. Jesus went out and make friends. And that's the way he reached out and helped people.
Ajahn, I think reach out to the broken, to the loneliness, to the people that nobody care much about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, that is part of what we should do. A lot of people think that they want to reach out to the rich people, the famous people, but left behind those who broken.
You heard the story that the young pastor going out, make friends with all kind of people and bring them to church. And the people who live are at church for so long don't like that. The people who stay in church for so long, they have friends and they say, this is stranger, this is not our people. And they don't like it. You ever encounter that situation? Some old people who have been in church for so long feel that this is their family, this is what they have. They don't want any stranger come in.
Yeah, those old people, they cannot really change them anyway, no matter what, because they have their old head, old thinking, old govern. So when the new one come, and they don't want to change, they don't want to bend to the to the young generation. It's gonna be hard. That's why let them die out. All the old thinking. So like I seen in American church for many churches, because they're old thinking and old decision maker, they don't want to give up their old style of worship. That's why they cannot bring in the new one, and until the church die out.
Well, that's sad. But this is why sometimes new generation need their own church, because the old people don't want them. But we need to care for old people too, because that is what they feel secure that way. But in the same time, we need to help new people and make friends with new people who need salvation too. So this is why sometimes we need different group of people, because they cannot really work together. And that is some of things that you need to think about when you try to take people from different background, different age, different idea or belief into one church. How you going to deal with all the differences, and how you going to build a church that way.
Ajahn, that is what I want to know.
Now you're not just going to be a preacher, you need to be a diplomatic leader, or to be a politician now. You see, politicians do that every day. How to work with different faction, different group all the time. I don't have the answer for you that how to do it.
God have the answer, John. Just love God and do what God, because asks you to do. That's all it counts.
Anyone of you have a good story to tell how you make friend with someone who have no friend, or nobody want to be their friend?
Gotta admit that I'm one of them that nobody want to be friends with me.
Anybody tell you that everyone falling in love with you almost lies away? I mean that they want to be your friend or feel comfortable with you lies away. No, none of you.
Actually, John, before
Yes.
we have a lot of friends, but when we became to know Jesus and accept Jesus as Lord and Savior, and we lose all friends. I think that's how I noticed that because we walk different paths.
Yeah, that one is true. And John say that's before, so I have a lot of friends. Friday night, in my garage, pack of my friend, barbecue, enjoy. Sin, God call me and come. No one. The one you'd be your best friend. He say he can die for you. Now, 20 years, never heard about him.
You ever ask them why?
So I asked him, the first day, so he went to church with me. And I say, okay, you do your work, I do my work. After that, I keep calling him, he's saying the phone. Now he talk inside no more. So I know maybe he caused before we can do what they do, right? But now, we have focused on the God way. We don't walk with them. We don't joy, don't drink, don't dance, don't dance, just like them. So they say, all the time they come home with my house, right? And give them everything. Since I come to Christian, they come and sit down, drink water. They say don't like it. So,
Well, I think this is a good project for you. How to reconnect with them. You can find a way to reconnect with them. And that's a good project. You think it's possible?
Yeah, yeah, very, very hard. How many years? Almost 20 years. The person be my best friend. Since we come to United States, we know each other. So work
I
together.
believe that if you try hard enough, you still can rebuild your relationship with that person. And that can be a good project for you.
Maybe I lost connect. So.
Or you can
try.
find out how to find him.
Yeah.
I think that's not easy. My own family, my brother, my sister, my parent, when I came to know God and I, follow Christ, and they start not to come to my home and start not calling me much because I do things different.
But you can connect with them, like I'm saying. They don't come to you, you go to them.
I go to them, but on the weekend, then drink and they are drunk. And I just go sit there and watch, it doesn't good.
So like I said, sometimes like all those old friends that they kind of like because the way they live their life, I still go to them and talk to them, in the but not as really not as like like before, because you gotta your lifestyle, you go with them and stay with them and talk to them. And even like their birthday and all that stuff, they invite you go, sometimes you go, like a lot of people say, don't go, why you go to the party? Why you go to the this and that? But mainly just for that relationship friend, you want to be friend, you want to show them that you still friend with them, you don't, what do you call, reject them or something, thing like that. Sometimes like people might say, like, oh yeah, you're a pastor, you are this, and you still go to party, birthday party, I go, but I have my standing ground. I go and then I be there, let them see your face, and after that I don't stay long and I leave.
It looks like all of you can do this project because all of you lost our old friend when you became Christian. So this is a good project for all of you to go back to reconnect with your old friends. Find a way and try.
Yeah. it's gonna be hard, but I think all my old friends who are before they don't come to church, but now I think how many three families, right? Now 3 families are connected to church. Yeah, so we somehow got caught. Yeah.
Kong Sai can share how you do it, so we can learn from Kong Sai too.
Like us pray and still talk to them and still invite them until they someday they'll God will soften their heart, and then they decided to come. Even though with the family that broke down, and then when they broke down and it's really hard, nobody lend a hand, but our group is lend a hand, we helping them, bring them back. And even though they fall again, can we do the second time? I say, yeah, we can do the second time. And that's how we can, earn. That's why we got one family back from that, because the way we, people don't care about it. People don't lend a hand for them, but we went and, lend a hand and they bring them up and taught them and let them trust in God. And then they, they recommit their life, to God, and they accept God. And then now they, they come into church until now. So it's not our work, but we be part of it. But God is the one that doing the work in their heart and change them. We just do our part, be friendly, invite them, and keep talking.
Yeah, quite hard. I remember when I became Christian, I lost my old friend, old culture friend. And then during that time, people drink, I still drink, even a Christian. I didn't even know that much, how God loved me. I didn't even know that much. And then if people smoke cigarette, I smoke cigarette. When I quit cigarette, I would quit all those friends. They don't come to me again. They say, if I close to you, I gotta smell you. Yeah, and then when I quit drinking, all the friends, they don't come no more. And today, it just mean I lost so many friends. I try to go back to see them and say, you step away from me because I was drinking and smoking. Still, my own life never changed. You change yourself. That's good enough for you. So, someday you will understand, but not today. Probably not. In the future, hopefully, you will change someday. People's life is different every day.
Yeah.
They say, okay, thank you for your offer me, but this is Sangkom Niyom, something like that.
Yeah. Just keep praying for them. That's all. Keep praying for them.
Yeah, that's all we can do. Yeah.
But when you pray for them, you don't invite them to come and pray, because if you do that, they distance you further. I lost friend, but we still contact. We still go fishing together and sometimes go hunting together. But the minute I try to teach them about God, and then now they distance from me even further than before.
So that's a good advice. Maybe you don't need to mention, because they already know.
Right.
It's just God timing. But I still believe that you still should keep friendship with them, whatever you can. And that's a good project for all of you. I believe that all of you lost a lot of friends because you became a believer. And that's a good project, how to reconnect with old friends. And you have a plan to keep that friendship. And one day that friendship can bring them to God. You might have to go slow and take years.
I think so, Ajahn. Yeah. I think sometimes like we have friends that are not a Christian, but they know us. But when every time that we do something or we eat something like that, they respect us. They want us to pray. I mean, allowed to pray during the meal time, and that is something that we don't have to speak out anything. It's just the time that we eat, let us give a blessing to God, like that, And then they every time that they know that, and gradually they when every time that we meet, they don't eat first. They just wait for us to pray first and they eat. Yeah.
Okay, Kong Sai, you can light up this project and share with your friend how you have done it successfully. 3 of your old friends come to your church now.
Well, it's not just me that bringing them, but we have some other family in the church that invite them also, like they encourage them. We have a group of people that can encourage them. So,
Okay, whatever you done, you can share. Okay, let me go back to the lectures that we can cover more. Okay, here at the end of the chapter, they advise you seek tactics that you can build strong relationship. So what are they? We come back to the same thing that they advise you that the first 3 advices mutual attentiveness and positivity, coordinating. It just means that you have something in common that you share. For example, you come from the same culture. You're interested in some common thing like hunting, fishing, or you're growing up together, something in common. That means that you still have some connection to build on. And positively, witty mean that you always look at everything in the positive side or in a good way, instead of look at bad way or negative all the time. And plan everything to make it happen. It not happen by itself. It's all come from your planning. You do something and then lead to another thing. Even you fail the first few times, it's not mean that you give up, but you have to try again or try another way to make that relationship go on. Keep your connection. It's already broken, yes, but one time you have a close friendship. You have to repair that and bring it back. And don't think that your friend don't care. They care. But something happened. You need to repair that broken relationship again. It's possible by God's help, and you don't give up. And they advise that when you start again, make a good introduction. Eye contact, actively listening, engage in question. It means that go back to your old friend and try to connect with them and pay attention. Life change all the time. But you want to reconnect with them and you want to bring back old friendship. And I believe that they care. It's just something that's blocking them now. And show them that you really want the old friendship back. And this it can be the common ground, mean that your friend wanted to, but they feel that something blocking. And you can show them that your faith in Jesus is not the reason that you cannot be friends. So let them know that you still care for them, you still love them, and you still want the friendship back. And not many people have good friends. And it might be difficult at first few months or first few times, but if you keep insisting to bring back and build up your friendship again, I think you're going to be successful. I believe that your old friend want you back too. But now they might just think that you don't care and you just leave them. And they might feel that you deserted them to your new belief or new friend. But you need to show them that you still care for them and you still want them to be your friend. But you need to work hard. You need to go back to them. And here is all the reason that why friendship or reporting is so important. And here from the business view, they say that in business, it's not just you work for your company and you have a teamwork. But when you have good friendship with your team and with other company, it make everything work very well and everyone work harder. And it make your connection socially, friendship and business sense, it work a lot better because you trust one another and you feel that they are your friend. They're helping you and you're helping them too. And you don't have any doubt that why friendship is so important. And here they give you some example that in American culture, they're talking about what should you say to your friend all the time, what the best advice you ever receive. And this is some advice that American, when they talk to each other, you ask your friend the advice and make them feel good that you care about them, what you'll be proud of. But now in your culture, you might have to find something that more interesting. This is in American business culture. This is what they're talking about. How about your day? How your family? How your work? But now you have to adjust to your friendship with your friend that you're growing up together, or you want them to come back to connect with you. You may ask them how your family and how your family in back home in our country, and how you feel about your children that now they are American. They still keep your language, your culture. This is something in common that they value. And you can connect with them real quick because they feel that you care and you want to reconnect with them. And this is something in common you all have. Something that you cherish and you care about. And they cannot talk this thing with other people. It's just with you. So I believe that if you just refresh your friendship and connect with something in common that you already have built up for many years, I believe that you have a good start. And believe me that all your old friends want you back. It's just sometimes they don't want to say it and they don't want to show it. But when you show that you care and you want to be that friend again, and we can get together, you might have to start first. Pay attention to them, go to see them, and show them that you care. And here in many business world or in many culture, in American culture, they always want their team to connect with one another. And here in business world in America, they say that a lot of companies have a coffee break. And the goal is so all the workers can connect, can talk, can be friends. That intentionally. This is why they offer free coffee and free snack. Because they want people to come and know each other, relaxing. So you find something that will work with you. Good rapport often start with a small talk. Whenever you have a chance to talk to new people or even old friends, give them a call from time to time and don't need to talk a long talk, just a little bit to show them that you still care. Just a few things, and that's good enough to keep your connection going. And they say that in order to do that, you need to build interpersonal skill, mean that the skill that you can connect with someone deeper than just they call casual. You know, when they say casual talking or friendship, mean that you meet someone, you just say hi, hello, how are you? Thank you, goodbye. That's called casual, but it's not go deep enough. To go to that level of interpersonal skill mean that whatever you talk, and whatever you respond, it comes down from your heart and you care. And you really want to know how they feel or what the situation is. And in this level, it can be only when you care enough. If you don't care enough, it never go to that level. And now this is more advice they call egg intelligence. Now look at what they advise. Let's see what they advise. Well, it looks like what you talk about is already. It makes you more likable. It facilitates communication. It helps everyone get what they want. It improves productivity. I think we already talked something about that. Okay, this is more important here. A tip for building rapport with anyone, anywhere. First, develop your emotional intelligence. It means that we talk about the mental intelligence or your brain power that you can remember, you can study fast. That is about your mental intelligence. But here we talk about emotional, mean that you can sense other people feeling real quick. You can know that even they don't tell you, you can feel that they're sad, they're happy, they're nervous, or they have problems, or they hurt. So in order to go to that point, you need to pay attention to whatever people say or don't say, how they react. And you need to develop that you care for what they feel. If you don't care, you never come to this point. But if you care for that person, you will learn how to feel what they feel. You can tell what they feel too. They say master of the art of reading other people. We don't talk about fortune teller, but we talk about how you can tell what other people think or feel by pay attention to their feeling, their reaction, and what they say. A lot of time people give you a clue, but we don't pay attention or we don't care. But when you care, you pay attention to what people say. People try to tell you something indirectly. But a lot of time we lose the clue. But if you practice enough, you will know ask question. That is always the best thing. When you're not sure or you don't know, go directly ask them, what is the problem? What is happening? Let them know that you care, you want to know, and you want to help, but you don't know. You want them to tell you what they think, what they feel, what their problem. Ask them. A lot of time they will tell you. And it shows that you care. A lot of people don't care to ask, and don't want to know the other people's problem or suffering. But good friend, good rapport will ask questions about your friend, their situation. Put your phone away. It's about modern day people. They have their cell phone all the time. And even when they talk to you or with you, they still flip at their phone, look at their phone all the time. So it means that they don't pay attention. They don't care. So stop your phone. Stop doing anything but pay attention to your friend, what they try to tell you. Pay attention to them. Practice active listening. Mean that when you listen to people, you need to pay attention. A lot of time we say we listen, but not exactly listening. We thinking about something else, we doing something else, we talking about something or do other thing in the same time. So that is not listening. We need to give full attention to people who talk with us at that moment. And When they're done, repeat what they say to make sure that you understand them correctly. Paraphrase means that you repeat what you understand, what they say. Sometimes you misunderstood them because when you paraphrase, you interpret what they say and they tell you, oh, that is not what I say. So it is a good way to make sure you understand your friend correctly. Our question is still the same thing. If not sure, then this is reciprocate. It means that a feeling that you feel when you decide to buy because they give you some sample. It means that you feel that your friend is good to you, or your friend feel that you are so good to them. They need to pay back to you. So what that means? We learn this from a lot of sales people. They give you some free sample. They treat you with a lot of good things. So now you feel obligated to buy something from them, because you feel that they already give you a lot. And you cannot take anything free from them all the time. So you need to pay back. So in friendship, sometimes you need to start that way. And your friend feel obligated to respond to your generosity or your friendship. Nobody can take all the time. They need to give back. And people feel that way. Now you get the point that sometimes you need to start by be generous to your friend, help them, offer them help, or give them something, give from time to time, or visit them, and your friend feel that they need to pay back. They need to do something for you too. So this is the way that work in a lot of situations. Find common ground, this is the same thing that you can talk about your history. When you're young together, or when you're in your country, and how suffering you share. And this is some common thing that they don't have with anyone. They have with you. And they always cherish that. They always want to talk about that. So this is a good ground that you can build your friendship again. You have something in common that other people don't have. And we should keep that, our friendship, from that point on. And they tell you that to make you feel good. You are lying more than you know. What that means? Mean that a lot of time you think nobody loves you, nobody like you, but a lot of time, a lot of people like you and care for you. But you just think that nobody cares, nobody wants you, but in fact they care, and they like you, and even they love you too. Okay, I will stop sharing here and come back for your reflection. We're almost out of time. You have any time in your small group to share some what you have learned each week?
Yes, Ajahn, we done like the one at the group discussion. We already did some. So you want us to send like when the time you want us to send? We finished some already. So
Yes, in fact, every week your group need to write me a one-page report.
why to send it out?
Yeah, who attend and what topic you talk. You don't need to write the whole page, but a few things. Who attend that meeting and what topic you talk about, what you learn. Just a few sentences might be enough of each time.
Okay.
Okay, you're supposed to have 14 meetings, or 12 at least, 12 to 14. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we already finished some, so I think I will send it to you by this weekend.
Okay, good. Thank you, Timothy. You have anything else for tonight?
So for this class, we how many projects that we have? I already forgot. So the one that we have to write about there, you talked about it earlier.
Yes.
And the group discussion,
Yes.
discussion, and
Yeah, I think that's all that we require for this class.
oh, okay, yeah. So that means just 12. Okay.
Yeah. The 3 projects that your group need to do, and the 12 to 14 report of your meeting of small group study.
We haven't write also, John, but I have to go back and rewrite all of them because I don't have nobody recorded. So I guess I'm gonna go back and have to But our Monday night is pretty good. We just discuss and help each other sometimes. Even personal stuff, that is really good for discussing and encouraging one another, pray for one another. So things like that is really encouraging, help out a lot with the Monday night group.
Okay, good. So if you have any situation or problem, you can text me or email me asking question or help, or call me if you need to.
John,
Yes.
I have something to add on what we mentioned earlier about lost old friend.
Okay.
And I learned that some of the friends that I lost, they come back, and some even come to know the Lord. It's I think in our culture, the only time that they can listen to you is only when they have a problem in the family, or a parent that passed away or something like that, and you go and you show them that you love them, you serve them whatever you ask, whatever they need help, you can provide that for them, and go visit them often, and maybe sit with them for a long time, help them cook, things like that. And I think that is the one other thing that soften their heart, and they tend to listen more. And that way, I learned that one of the family that friend that come to know God because of situation like that.
Yes, you get the point. I found out that it worked with almost everyone. And a lot of family come to believe in Jesus because of that funeral. His funeral.
You're right, John.
Go to hell. Yeah, Pongsai.
Yeah, you're right. The funeral is the most people, even non-Christian, and then a lot of people, some people said, oh yeah, if they're not Christian, they cannot do funerals for them. But I said it's opportunity to share God's word. Because if they want a Christian to do it, that's why I said if any funeral people that ask me to help them do it, I do it because opportunity to share God's word.
Let me put one word for you. The funeral is not for the dead, but for the living.
Yes.
For the living, not for the dead.
So yeah, and then people that don't have nowhere to go, they know that if somebody die, they're gonna ask if I can help with the funeral service and all stuff. It connect to that way. Yeah.
Okay, I will let you go, and we just have a few minutes before we come back to the second class. Allow 7:35, maybe give you 10-minute break. Okay, let's pray. Lord God, we thank you that we have learned something tonight. I lift up all students before you. Be with them when they work on the project, try to solve a lot of situations, a lot of problems. Help them, give them the wisdom. Be with them until we come back again next week. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay. Okay, let's pray again. Father God, we thank you for the time that we could study the gospel according to John. Be with us and give us the wisdom to understand your words. We thank you in Jesus' name. I pray. Amen. Okay, let's see. Let me share. Okay, I just want to share what we're supposed to do in this class. What is your requirement? You do the attendance, you do the reading, you have small group, and the project exegetical paper. It means that you need to write study a passage that you're going to select 5 to 10 verses from John. And you need to explain it in the format that here. What is the meaning of that passage that you select from the historical, from the theological, and from the language, whatever you know about the passage, analyze it and apply it. So it means that you could make a Bible study out of the passage you select, but not just application, but you need to have the historical background, the theology background, the language background, that you need to go on every single thing from that passage that you select before you apply that to your listener life, that application. So that is the big paper that each one of you, well, let me put it this way. I will allow you to do as a group, but you need to select a passage that big enough, like 10 to 20 verses, and build that as a lesson plan for a Bible teaching. So that is the project that you're supposed to have. Let's see. And you need to follow the guideline here that you need to study that passage from all the guideline here, as many as you can. I know some passage you cannot find everything, but you need to try your best on your passage from the guideline here. So this is 6 passage, 6 stage that they want you to go through for your paper that you're going to present. So this is 40% of all your grade will come from.
Wow.
So this is a big paper. So each category will give you points. So you need to look at how you're going to build your lesson plan according to the guideline here. Okay, you can work as a team. You can help divide the job. One might study on the historical background, one on the language, and another one on the theology of the passage and application. So this is all what you need to do as a group, if you have a group to study this project together. Okay, you have any question on your project?
John, did you hit record already, John?
Oh, I forget. Let's see, let me come back. Yeah, it's recording.
Yeah, it's already recorded in the beginning.
Okay, that is the project for your group. Beside all the small group, or the reading, or the participants in class, and that a project for your team. And you can have a choice to do it yourself. But if you want to do as a group, you can do as a group too. But you need to follow the guideline then, step by step. You have any question on your project? And we support to present your project in a few weeks too.
Did you send us a guideline, Jan?
Oh, in the syllabus.
The syllabus, okay.
Yeah, if you go back to check the syllabus, there is a guideline there.
Ajahn, it's a paper 1 and paper 2. So I have to do 2?
Let me check what I put down here. Let's see. Paper 1, paper 2. But I just want you to do just one. That's good enough.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Unless you want extra point, you can do the second project. But I just require you to do one. Okay, you don't have any question on 1 or 2 paper?
What do I miss?
Just miss the project that students need to do. You want to do too, Chris?
How much work that is? Do I have enough time to do that?
You need to write a project about 10 to 15 pages on Bible study in detail. You can join one of the group. They're working on the project as a team.
How to join them?
Kong Sai, when your team meet, where Kong Sai gone? Apun can tell Chris how he can join your team.
Yeah, I
So
want to join that too.
we have on Monday night, I think at 6:30, right, Jan Ke? Yeah, and 6:30. So we have a Zoom. So we have maybe I can give you the Zoom number.
How many people in your group?
So Ke and Farm, me, and Ajahn Kong Sai. We have 4.
Okay.
And
So Farm and Nathan, you have another group?
Yeah, we have a with Ajahn Kamsai. Every Thursday, but some night we cannot make it, but we have to and San Thursday night.
Okay.
From 7 p.m. and on, depends. Because some of us cannot make it from work. So yeah, we do our best too.
Okay, there's 2 groups, Monday and Thursday, that they're working on the project.
All right, I want to join one of the group. Maybe Monday group. How about Monday? What time? How's that work?
They need to send Chris a link.
okay, so, I send okay, I send the link. Okay.
You can type the
Okay.
link in the
Okay,
portal.
I put in the test. Okay, so yeah, with the ones.
Yeah, on the message here,
Okay.
and people can see that your Monday group meet at what time and what link that
Okay.
Chris can join you.
Okay.
Okay, tonight we're going to cover John chapter 11. John chapter 11 tonight. Verse 1 to 3. The Bible says that a man got sick. His name is Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and Martha. And this is the Mary who anointed Jesus with the expensive perfume. And she wiped Jesus' feet with her hair. Now, people always have doubt that who is this Mary, because in other gospel, like in Matthew, talk about a positive who do that, and in Luke also talk about some woman, but here John clearly said that this is Mary, sister of Lazarus and Martha. Now, theology try to combine that this is Mary who have 7 spirit that Jesus cast out. Also the same Mary that the prostitute. Also the Mary that stand by the cross when Jesus was crucified. Or the same Mary that went to the tomb that morning before anyone. Well, a lot of scholars believe that this is the same Mary. Even Mary is a popular name in that time. Among Jesus' female disciples, there are at least 4 Marys. But a lot of them are old, not as young as this Mary. So what happened? Lazarus we mentioned a few times, but not by a lot of things that happened to them. You remember that Jesus went to Jerusalem at least 3 times a year. And Jesus never spent the night in Jerusalem because people say that might be not so safe, or might be he have a lot of disciples that live outside Jerusalem. And most of the time we know that Jesus went out of Jerusalem a few miles and stay with Lazarus in his home. Lazarus might be pretty rich. He have a home outside of Jerusalem. And a lot of Jesus' disciples come to stay here all the time when Jesus came to Jerusalem. And now the man got sick, Lazarus. We don't know that he is the oldest brother or the youngest. The Bible did not mention about that. And now he was sick, and Jesus know that. And the sister sent news to Jesus that, oh, Lazarus is sick, very sick, seriously sick. We don't know much because only here in John mentioned about his sickness. And in fact, Matthew, Mark, Luke mentioned something about Lazarus, but not much. But here John put in detail about him and even mentioned that Lazarus of Bethany. And the name Lazarus comes from the Greek word that the real name in Hebrew is Eliezer, which means God is my help. So you see that when the Hebrew name translated into Greek, they change how to pronounce it. Eliezer becomes Lazarus. You never have imagined that Eliezer becomes Lazarus. And Eliezer comes from 2 words, from Eli and Ezer, mean that God. Eli means God, and Eliezer mean that help. But Lazarus is a Greek name that very popular later on. A lot of something talking about this family, that they're so close to Jesus, and a lot of rumor from non-believer always say a lot of things about Mary. But we don't know much about her. We just know that she and her sister are female disciples that follow Jesus almost everywhere too. Now you see a group of female disciples also followed Jesus beside the 12, but most of the Bible, Matthew, Mark, and John rarely mention about them. Luke might mention a lot more about them or the female disciple. The 12 male went with Jesus everywhere, and you might be surprised that the few female disciples also went with them everywhere, but they live in a different quarter. A lot of them are rich because they get a very rich husband. A lot of them married to Roman soldiers, and they have money to support Jesus' team. They are the one who cook, clean, and provide food for the team. And a lot of people never mention about their contribution, but in fact, they are very important in Jesus' team. They cook, they clean, they give money, they support the team from day one until the end. And now Mary and Martha send someone to Jesus and tell, the one that you love is sick. Well, why did they say that? They expect Jesus to come and heal Lazarus. And what happened here? When Jesus heard that, he said, his sickness is not unto death, but to glorify God. Now, this is something that they don't expect, because everyone who are sick, they want Jesus to touch them, pray for them, and heal them right away. But Jesus said, no, I'm not going. And for Mary and Martha, they know that Lazarus can die because of this sickness. It's serious. But Jesus confirmed to them that he won't die. Now, this is the way to trust God, because Lazarus will die. But what Jesus means that he will never die means that he will come back. And that even better, to show people that Jesus has power of life and death and can do anything. Nobody can do that, bring dead people back to life. Only God can do that. And Jesus going to show the people that he is God. Death is no problem. He can give life to anyone. And Lazarus is not the only one. In Jesus' time, we know that he brings at least 3 people back to life. The daughter of the synagogue leader, the son of the widow, and Lazarus, 3. If you don't count he himself, number 4, that come back from death to life, but a different thing, different situation. And Jesus said this thing going to glorify God. A lot of people will see that to confirm that Jesus is God, because he has power over death. He can bring life back from death. Only God can do that. And this is the opportunity for Jesus to confirm to his disciple too. And this is not the first time and not going to be the last time. The Bible confirms that Jesus loved this family so much because they are close disciples. And they follow Jesus and give everything they have to support the ministry from day one. And Jesus saved them. If we believe that this Mary is the same Mary that she used to be a prostitute. And I need to explain a little bit. A lot of prostitutes in those times, in those days, in those cultures, not because they're poor. A lot of women become prostitutes because of their faith in their goddess of prostitute. Mean that all the female and even male disciples will sell themselves, their body, and give the money to the temple, not for themselves. This is the donation. They donate their body to get money to support the temple. They don't get the money. but they sell their body for that way. That is the ultimate sacrifice that all their disciples give to their goddess of positive. The Canaanite do that, and even later on the Greek and the Roman will have that goddess. Today we give a better name, we call her the goddess of fertility. When all culture in the past, when they're going to start their growing season, like for the field, everything, they need to have sacrifice for this goddess of fertility. So everything that grows will be very successful. All the animal will have plenty of baby, and man and woman will have a lot of children. So you need to sacrifice to this goddess, and she go everywhere, in Greek, in Indian culture, even in all kind of Asian culture later on, we worship her too. So we believe that Mary, this is the one who is the positive. She do that just because of her faith in the wrong religion, that culture. Now the Bible says that when Jesus heard about the sickness of Lazarus, he did not go immediately. He stayed 2 more days intentionally. Why? To give time for Lazarus to die. If he go too early, Lazarus will not die, and he will not have a chance to come back from death. And God's plan is for him to die and get back to life. And now, if the family know that, they're not happy, because they don't know that if their brother die, he will come back or not. So that is a doubt. 2 more days. Why have to be 2 more days? You know that they come all the way to tell Jesus he very sick. Jesus wait 2 more days and then walk another 2 more days to get there. So mean that when Jesus got there, Lazarus might die only 3-4 days, 4 days. That intentionally, because the Jew believe that in 3 days the spirit still hovering around the body, but after 3 days the spirit will go away from the body forever, for good. They not come back. Why? The main reason, the body are rotting. In the Middle East, the culture from the past until today, the body need to be buried in 24 hours. Because the weather is so hot, in 24 hours, the body already rotting. Smell bad. And the decomposition start almost right away. So in 24 hours, they need to finish the funeral. But the Jewish culture still hope that in that 3 days, the spirit still hoping around, hope to come back to the body. But after 3 days, no hope. The spirit will go forever, for good. So people still have hope that somebody died. They still hope that sometime they come back. In day 1, day 2, and possible sometime day 3. But not more than that. Therefore, impossible, never happen. So Jesus intend for that. He will come after 4 days to show them that it's impossible for man, but not for God. God can do it. So 4 days, that the exact time that he will come, will show up. And you remember that this is not the first time someone asked Jesus to do something and he do in different way. Like first Mary, mother of Jesus, asked him to heal the horse that they don't have wine anymore. Jesus said, it's not my time. But later on, he did make wine for them from the washing water. And the second time, you remember when his brother asked him to go to Jerusalem to show off. He said no. But he did when his time comes. And here, the third time, Mary and Martha asked him, and he said no. But later on, he will do it in his time, in his way. So it means that it doesn't mean that God always say no, but he will do it in his own way, in his own timing. Not our way, not our timing, but God's way and God's timing. So sometimes that doesn't mean no, but it means wait and believe. So we learn from this lesson that when God say wait, it doesn't mean no. It just means wait. And God have his own time and his own way. Now, verse 7 to 10 will say that after 2 days, Jesus told his disciple that let's go now. Lazarus is sleeping. So his disciple will say that, oh, if he sleep, he will wake up. Don't worry. We don't need to go. But what he mean, his sleep mean that death for them. But for Jesus, it's just sleeping. But for human being, that is death. And the disciple want Jesus that, remember the Jews want to catch us and kill us. Jesus told them that there are 12 hours a day. We do everything in 12 in the daytime. But when nighttime comes, nobody can do anything. Why Jesus talk about this? Well, Jesus just tried to tell the disciple that there is time for everything. Time to work and time to rest. Time to serve God and time to stop. So it means that God has timing for everything. And we cannot just say that I am afraid. I don't feel good. I am busy. When God time comes, we just do it. And when God time done, you cannot do it anymore. And Jesus always confirmed that when I open the door, nobody can close it. But when I close it, nobody can open it. So to remind the disciple that God has his timing, planning. And it's not our schedule, it's God's schedule. So we cannot tell God, I'm not available now. I'm going to be available next month or next year. God said, no, it's not your timing, mine. You might not have next month or next year. So don't plan too far. Just do what you can do now. And whatever you have a chance, because you don't know the future and you don't know that you will have tomorrow, next month, next year or not. Now on verse 11 to 15, Jesus confirmed to them, our friend Lazarus sleep, for him that's sleeping, because he can wake Lazarus up anytime. But in fact, he is dead. Finally, Jesus had to tell his disciple that straightforward, Lazarus is dead. But I'm going to wake him up to give him life again. So now the disciples have to believe that Jesus can do that. In fact, they have seen that 2 times already. Jesus raised 2 people from death already. The little girl, the daughter of the synagogue leader. And the second time, directly, the son of the widow, that they have the funeral. Jesus went there and touched the coffin and wake up the dead man, and he sit up. But After 2 times, they still can doubt. I don't know. Sometimes we have to see miracle many times, but we still doubt. Now Thomas, the one who called twin, say that let's go and die with Jesus. Now is a good point here. The Bible called Thomas the twin. In fact, he doesn't have any twin brother at all. But why the Bible here, John called him the twin? Because from tradition, they say that Thomas looked like Jesus. I don't know, we have no proof. But because Thomas doesn't have brother, but why he got the name twin? Well, a lot of people believe that because Thomas looks similar to Jesus. That's why they call him the twin. I don't know, that what a lot of people guessing, that where he got his name, twin. And in fact, Thomas is not a Jewish name. But in those days, a lot of Jews have Jewish name and also the Greek name too. Because Greek is the language of the world at those days. Like today, we have Lao name and English name, or Mian name and English name. One is for your family or friend to call, and another name is for government, legal name. So this is very common in Jesus' time. People have at least 2 names or even more. And Thomas confirmed to the disciple that let's go with Jesus. If we die with him. Well, this is what they think they can do. Because in a few more days, it will prove that all of them will run away from Jesus. When time comes, they're not as brave as they think. Now Jesus came. And what happened? Mary and Martha already have funeral done. They finished the funeral in 24 hours, as I say, that the culture tradition. Everything have to be done within 1 day. If not, the body will smell rotten. But for the Jewish culture, most of the time, the rich people will have a burial site at a cave. They put the body in the cave. And they seal the entrance of the cave. Not everyone can do that. Only the well-to-do or the rich people can do that. The poor, they will still bury on the ground in the simple way. Only the rich can have a cave to bury the dead one. And the family can go to visit from time to time. And the body just wrapped, is like part of the, you might call mummified. They wrap the body, they clean the body first, and then they wrap up with all spices, all the thing that they believe will preserve the body. And the cave will be very hot at daytime, very cold at nighttime, and very dry. And that way, most of the body will be mummified. Mean that the body will dry off like mummy. It's not rotting. So this is why the rich people have hope that in case the people can come back, the spirit can come back and come back to the body, because the body have been preserved that way. And even the Egyptian mummify the king because they hope one day the king will come back to life and have the body. So they don't want to let the body rotting away or disappear in the ground, but they preserve the body and keep it that way. Today, after 4,000 years, you go to the museum, you still see the mummified body of the Egyptian king. And this is how the rich Jewish people try to do the same thing. Now, 4 days, whatever by Jewish culture and tradition, the spirit already gone. The spirit not stay any longer after 3 days. It's no hope. And that is their belief. They seal it and hope that one day in the future, the Jew also have hope that the body who died will resurrect, that in the end time, in the judgment day. Now, a lot of families still there. Well, even they bury the body, it doesn't mean that the family done, because they still have all kind of ceremony to remember the dead. And people come far away. They take them several days to walk there or travel there. They still stay a few days to support the family. So this is the time that all the family come to support Mary and Martha and stay with them for a few days. Mary is with the guests in the house. And you know that Mary is very close, one of very devoted disciples. She always with the team all the time. And here she's so sad. And when she heard that Jesus coming, she will run to him. Mary and Martha will say that, the Lord, if you hear, my brother will not die. They know that Jesus can heal their brother. But to bring death to life, they don't think that it's possible. It's very difficult. So to be sick and get better, they have seen that and they believe that it's possible. But death 4 days, impossible. You know that in the prophet time, like in Elisha time, the death is just a few hours or a day. And Elisha bring the dead back to life after a few hours. And they believe that that's possible. But 4 days, it never happened in the history or in the Bible. But Jesus intends to wait until 4 days to prove to them that he can do it. It doesn't matter 4 days, even longer than that. But 4 days is the cutting time for the Jew. But at least they confirm that, well, even I don't think that Lazarus will come back to life. Mary and Martha will confirm that God listen to you, Lord. If you ask, God will do it. So this is still some hope. They know that it never happened in the history, never seen one, never heard of one. But Jesus is the Son of God, and he can pray, and God can answer and perform something that never done before. That is their faith. That is their belief. This is going to be the first time in the Jewish history somebody dead for 4 days come back to life. Never happened. So what happened? Now in verse 23 to 27, Jesus tell both of them, your brother will come back to life. They know that because the Jewish teacher also teach about the resurrection in the last day. Last day here means the judgment day, the day that all people come back to life to get judgment for what they have done in their life. The good one will get all the honor. The bad guy will punish in hell. That the Jews believe that way too. So this is what they're talking about, resurrection in the last day, the judgment day. But Jesus tell her that, no, I'm not talking about that. Jesus talking about now. I am the resurrection and the life. Jesus said that you don't need to wait until the end time, the judgment day. I am now can do it. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the one who gives life to people who believe. Or I am the one who makes life happen. This is what Jesus confirmed about himself. So this is the very clear confirmation that Jesus is God, have the power to do it. Who believe in me, though he may die, he shall live. Jesus confirmed to them that anyone who believes in me, even they die, they shall live, mean that they will come back. And whoever believe, who live and believe in me shall never die. So here can mean in two sense. First, the physical sense mean that we will live forever with Jesus. And in the spiritual sense mean that we will never go to hell or get punishment for our sin because we believe in Jesus. Our spirit is not dead. Death in this sense means that separate from God. God is the source of life. When you were separate from God, you are dead. But here means that we're going to be with God and live forever in that two sense, physically and spiritually. And Mary told him, I believe, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God who come into the world. The word Christ here in Hebrew means Messiah, mean that Savior, the one who come to save the world. The Jews believe that for thousands of years. And the interesting thing is the Jews still waiting for the Messiah. For the Jews, most of them, the Messiah not come yet. But in fact, Jesus have come 2,000 years already. And that is sad. They're still waiting. Well, a lot of people are still waiting for help. And it's sad that help already come. And they don't get it. They don't believe. It's like when you suffer so much and you're waiting for help, but when help comes, you don't want it. You don't believe it. This is the help. And now what you want? You suffer, continue suffering. And not just a few days, not a few months, but thousands of years. And forever. So Jesus told them, believe in me. And that's what we would get. And here the debate going on between Lazarus' sister and Jesus, because they keep confirming that, oh, I know we all will resurrect for the judgment day. But Jesus said, no, I am the life. I can give life to anyone all the time who believe in me. Now, this is a good point that we could confirm that God can give us life anytime. And this is the hope from the early church on, that why Christians suffer and make outlaw by the government, and hundreds of thousands of even millions of Christians were killed in that several hundred year early church. Why they stand firm and still don't left their faith? Because they have hope. hope that in the future they will have a better life, the best life forever with God in heaven. Because they know that everything in this world short-lived. We might live to 80, 90 years old. We might own all the property. We might have all the money. We might have all the success, but for 80 years, and then what else after that? So they have hope that after this world, we will live forever, and that is matter. What will happen to us after we die from this world and live forever with God in heaven or in hell with devil? And that the belief that Christian can carry on, that why they can suffer. They can go through all the persecution with hope because the promise that Jesus gave them. One day you're going to live with me forever in heaven and help me rule the universe. Our world is just a little dot in the sky. Look up to the star that all we're going to help God rule the universe. God created so many things in the universe, and that is the hope that keeps the believer go on and on. Okay, I will stop here a little bit and come for your question and reflection about life and death and why believers in those days hang on their faith under persecution. What kind of hope? That the first part about the death of Lazarus teaches. What else you have learned from the death of Lazarus?
God have power to raise the dead. God have power to do all that stuff. So, but Jesus is a true Messiah. Jesus is God.
So we have seen that life cycle, it go on and on. But why believers have faith that we don't just come and go, but we go to live forever. And that sustain them for thousands of years. Now, when you compare to today Christian, a lot of us just hope for this world. Like we want to get rich, we want to be successful, we want to be millionaire. But you see, this hope in this world is just very short.
What room number?
Very short.
What room number? 414.
John, you can mute quiz if you want.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, thank you. I have a question, John.
Yes.
You know, in after Nazareth raised from the dead, does he also follow Jesus like Mary and Martha too?
Yeah, Lazarus going to be one of the very close disciples of Jesus. And the legend have a lot.
Emergency, have to go.
Okay, Chris.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, Chris live in Tennessee. 3 hours different from us. Okay. Can you repeat your question again, Chian?
You know, the after Lazarus raised from the dead, that he also followed Jesus with Mary and Martha. You know, I know Mary and Martha follow Jesus everywhere they're going. But is that also Lazarus do the same? He follow everywhere Jesus going as well?
We don't know exactly because the Bible did not tell us, but you will see him pop up from time to time, so it means that he always there too. But we don't know how busy he is, what is it, a job or what he do. But that's a good question to see that he already did, but Jesus gave him second chance. So what should he use his life in his second chance? And it's also about us too. If we die and God give us a second chance, so what should we live our life?
You should live a life for him, Ajahn. Just share what Jesus did, and Jesus resurrected him from the dead, and that's tell people so people can believe in Jesus.
Yeah, it's a good point because your second chance is not your life anymore. You already dead. But God give you a life again for a purpose. It's not you anymore.
Ajahn,
Yes,
our life right now is a second chance.
you're right. In fact, we already dead.
Yeah,
So
but God
Lazarus,
save us for his purpose.
so Lazarus, you might call the third chance.
But I thought John Nazareth, before he died, I thought he also already followed Jesus. According to your note, it said he's one of the Jesus favorite. Jesus loved Martha and Mary and also loved Lazarus as well.
You're right, but a lot of people that Jesus loved did not follow him full time. They always have good excuse that, oh, I have responsibility, I have thing to do. But a few sacrifice everything to follow Jesus full time. We know that the male have 12, but we know a lot of female, but the Bible never mentioned much about them because of culture. But we hope that after Lazarus come back from death, I think he might follow full time. You know that Jesus have the 12 that go with him everywhere and stay with him all the time. And he have to remember he sent out 70 disciples to preach. So we know that Jesus have another 100 of followers that we call not full time, but most of the time, but not full time, follow him. The 12 sacrificed their family, left their job, and followed Jesus full time. And several more hundred follow Jesus sometime. Mean that they still have their family, they might still do their job, but whenever they can get away, they come and follow Jesus. So now if we compare ourselves, what group we are now, the first group or the second group, or the third group, tens of thousands who follow when they have free food, or big party gathering, that's the third group. Tens of thousands that follow Jesus that way. You heard the church always say that when we have party, the church fill up. But on regular Sunday, you rarely see anyone. That's the third group. So what make a difference between the first, the second, and the third group that follow Jesus? I think the commitment. I believe that all of them believe in Jesus. All of them see the miracle. but how much commitment each group give to Jesus is not the same amount. A lot of people want to be the third group. Because they can still share the fun of the world and come to Jesus when they have something important or fun. The second group also a lot better because they're almost full-time, but they still have a lot of responsibility that they worry and concerned about. But the first group sacrifice everything and don't worry about the world anymore. And they live by faith. And that's tough. So Chien have a good point. After Lazarus come from death, he should move on to be the first group.
Well, John, he might choose to go to the first group, but the Bible didn't mention his name on it. We don't know, right?
Yes, I believe so. Beside the 12, later on, you see a lot more people follow Jesus full time, and we never mention their name too.
Right. So Lazarus could be one of them. Like Mary and Martha, they are full time in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they still follow Jesus, but never mention at all.
And it's very interesting to know that a lot of women that follow Jesus bring their son with them too. And we'll never mention their name. One of them is John Mark, the one who wrote the gospel according to Mark. That is the young boy that followed his mom with Jesus full time. And he is the one who wrote the first gospel, that record, John Mark.
Sorry, Ajahn, and how do you know? I'm just curious.
I know because historical fact. You read the book of Mark, the gospel according to Mark. At the end of the chapter, he mentioned about himself. He talked about a young man who followed Jesus that night. And the soldier tried to catch him. He ran away naked. You know that a lot of only the closet apostle went with Jesus to that garden to pray, and John Mark was there. And when they catch Jesus, they want to catch him too, but he ran away. John Mark was there with Jesus when Jesus was caught that night. So he say himself that he was there with Jesus.
Thank you.
Welcome. But he did not mention his name though, that the way. He just mentioned about the young man.
So his name's John Mark, right?
Yeah, we know him as John Mark. So a lot of people that we don't know their name, but they follow Jesus. You see, Jesus teach for 3.5 years. Even Jesus did not select more closest disciple, but a lot of people already follow him full time. You remember one time that a young man told Jesus that I want to follow you, but Jesus mentioned that the flock have hole. Just try to tell them that everyone have home, everyone have responsibility. But if you follow me, it means that you will lose everything. Are you ready to sacrifice that to follow me? Believe me that a lot of people want to follow Jesus full time, and some did, but some cannot. They might follow a few days, a few weeks, a few months, and then they left. But a lot that we might call unsung hero, no name hero. You ever wonder that when John later on mentioned about the women who stand by Jesus at the cross, you know that time most of the male disciples already run away, but the female disciples still there to support Jesus. You unbelieve that only female disciples still there, all the male run away.
Ajahn, is that because by that time the soldier will not arrest the female, they only arrest male, that's why they are afraid to be arrested?
I think all the women should be more worried because anything can happen to them. You get the point that way I say all women should be worried more. The soldier can do anything to them.
Ajahn, I think a lot of people in the Bible that did great thing, and we don't hear a lot mention. For example, Stephen, the one that got stoned to death for his belief. And after that, I don't see a lot of Bible words that mention about him.
Yes, and you know that after that, million of Christians for 300 years killed by the Roman. I number that million because today we found thousands and thousands of skeletons of believers that their head were chopped off or killed by animals, and they were collected by believers, and they barely under Rome at the called the catacomb. You or the might call the dead city. Hundreds of thousands of those people die because they believe in Jesus. Now that you can go to Rome, go to under that and visit those, it become museum now. But in the past, it's the you might call it the place that they collect all the dead body under Rome, under the city. And this is all no-name hero. Nobody know them. Only God knows. They were chopped, they were burned alive, they were teared down by a lion, they were killed by the gladiator. This is the Roman sport. And they put Christian out. Killing Christian is the Roman sport that they watch every day. From the 1st to the 3rd century, for that 300 years. Okay, let me go back to finish And Jesus asked Mary and Martha, do you believe what I tell you about I can give life? Well, they confirm that they believe. They believe. And now it's not just a saying that I believe. Because God looks in people's heart. It's not just by what they say. A lot of people say, I believe, but their heart is not there. But for a lot of people, God look at their heart and know that they really believe in their heart. So Martha went and called Mary. The teacher have come, go, and Mary run after Jesus. And now all this time, Martha talked with Jesus. And Mary is still crying with all the guests that come to comfort her. And all the guests follow her, thought that Mary running to the tomb to cry again. Because they already sealed the tomb. After 4 days, nobody can get there because the body might smell now. But this is the process that I say that they hope that by the cold air, dry air, and hot air will mummify the body, but they also put all spices on the body and wrap it up. And she went out and meet Jesus. And what she said, very interesting. Lord, if you have been here, my brother would not have died. They believe that Jesus can heal all kinds of sickness, but to raise someone that died for 4 days, that beyond their imagination. And I say that throughout the history, never happened. And throughout the Bible, all the dead that come back to life, it just die a few hours, not 4 days. Impossible. Elijah just raised everyone that died a few hours to new life, to life that possible. But now he already died for 4 days. How could Jesus can do anything? And here is very interesting. The Bible says that Jesus saw her weeping, the Jew weeping, and he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. But in many versions say that Jesus wept too. But in this version say that he troubled in spirit, and in the King James or the old version we say that Jesus wept with them. But whatever, they know that Jesus loved this guy so much. And where did they put him? They tell him that, come. And they say that, see how he loved him. Could not this man who opened the eye of the blind also have kept this man from dying? Well, Jesus also feel sad. And now people ask why Jesus have to cry, how Jesus have to be in that sad situation since he know he can raise all of them up. Well, we believe that not about Lazarus. Jesus feels sorry for everyone over there who don't have hope, who don't believe. And this is the major thing that Jesus kept concerned about people around him. They don't have faith. They don't believe. After he have done a lot of things for them, they still have doubt. They still don't believe in him. And that saddened him. It's not about the death of Lazarus, because he knows that he can raise Lazarus from death. But the living allow here hundreds of them who don't believe that what he concerned, that what he worry for them. And here just to confirm that God cares. And God have mercy on everyone around them. And that's why Jesus need to come and help them. Because they don't understand, they don't see, and they don't know that what God tried to help them. And here some versions say that Jesus wept with them. That we already explained that why Jesus wept with them, because not about Lazarus' death, but he's sorry for all of them who have no faith and who still don't have hope. And now it's the same thing that when Jesus in this world, he worried for his disciples because they don't have faith. But he promised that when the Holy Spirit come on you, the Holy Spirit will help you. And that is the hope that we have. We not by ourselves, but by the help of God, we can believe and we can do a lot of things for God and for Jesus too. And here to prove that Jesus came to be real man, because he can feel our pain and he can cry, he can weep, and he can suffer with us, like us, one of us. So this is what the Bible says, that God come to be one of us. So he can feel how we feel. And he get hurt the way we get hurt. So he come to share what suffering we have. So we cannot say that God don't know, God don't understand. He really come to feel, to be hurt, and to die like one of us. He doesn't need to do all this, but he choose to do it, to show us that he cares, and he wants to suffer with us. As a man, fully man, if he come only as God, he don't feel hurt, he don't feel sad, he don't feel sorry. But as a real man, he feel everything like us, one of us. So this is what the Bible says is the greatest moment, that God become one of us. That we call he lower himself down to be one of us. So this is God become fully man. That's why we say Jesus have two personalities. He fully God and fully man in the same time. But the man, when Jesus become man, he's still different from us. Why? Because the Bible says that we are the children of the first Adam. We are sinners. But Jesus come as the second Adam, no sin, and never fell into sin. He went through all the temptation and he won over the temptation. That is his perfect man. He gets sick, he gets tired, he suffers, he gets hungry like a man, but he overcome all those weaknesses and won over all the temptation by Satan put on him. So here the Bible says that a lot of people who follow him over there to the tomb still doubt. Can he raise the dead man to life? They have seen Jesus do all kind of miracles, but it just stopped there. The next one still doubt. The next one still, is it possible that he can do this? So they don't believe. In verse 39 to 40, Jesus told them, take the stone away. Martha will say that, no, Lord, 4 days now it smells bad. They know that. 4 days in Palestine. Jesus said, did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? But Jesus confirmed to her, God can do anything. You just have to believe. Man cannot believe. This is beyond how man can understand. Well, but finally they take the stone away. So they still have some faith when Jesus confirmed to them, I can do it if you believe. And Jesus prayed and said, Father, I thank you. And he said that all this prayer is not for him because he knows that God can do anything and he can perform all miracles, but for the sake of these people. He prayed and want to confirm to them that Jesus and God the Father are the same and in connection. So you see that a lot of time, a lot of things that Jesus said or did, just to confirm to people again and again who he is and what he can do. Not to show off, not to make himself great or anything. But the people need to see it. And the people need confirmation after confirmation all the time. And God is very patient with us because one day it looked like we believe, but the next day we lost our faith. We run away again. So God have to be very patient with us. Time after time. Now on verse 43. After he prayed, he cried out a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth, or come out. And he who had died come out, bound hand and foot, with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with cloth. Jesus said to them, loose him and let him go. Now this is the way they mummify. The tradition started in Egypt, and it passed on to the Jewish culture. Only the rich people can mummify the dead body. And you know that the process of mummify is a serious process. The food mummified by the Egyptian, they puncture the skull and they take all the brain off. And they open up the tummy. They take all the intestine, all the inside part of the body, or they take all out. And they put in a jar. And in the cavity of the body, they fill up with cotton and with all the medicine they have. So they put all the inside part of the body in the big jar and set it beside the body. So that's what they hope and believe, that one day the body, the spirit will come back to the body, united, and the people will resurrect. That's what they believe. So only the rich, very rich can do that. It costs a lot of money, and the process takes from 30 days up to finish the whole process. But when Lazarus put in here, we believe that it's not the full process of the Egyptian because it's just a few days. So it might be just partial mummified. So Jesus ordered Lazarus, and the miracle happened. He walked out. That might be another miracle because his body wrapped up. And the process of wrapping up is not just put a cross around your body. It seal the body with all the resin, with all the chemical. So mean that the cross hardened. It like put you in a casket. And by the way, to say that you have no chance to walk out unless God make it happen. Because that mummified process just seal you in the case of cross and all the thing that they put around the cross. But a miracle, he walked out. Even some cross still hang around, and Jesus told them that, set him free, get all the cross out. So many of the Jews come with Mary have seen things and believe. Now this is a big miracle that any man can witness. A dead man who died 4 days and come back to life. In Jewish history, nothing ever happened this way. Now, a lot of them believe only God can do that. Even prophet Elijah still cannot do this. But some of them went to the Pharisee, the Jewish leader, and told them the story. I don't know they mean good or mean bad, because a lot of people who come to the funeral are their family, are their friends, but they're also in high position with the Pharisee or the Sadducee. So they went back to tell them. So who are they, the Pharisee and Sadducee? In Jesus' time, there are allowed 70 leaders who rule over the Jewish country. There are at least 3 groups of them. The first group, they call themselves Pharisees. This is the majority. They are the teacher of the law. They are the expert. So they make the biggest part of the 70 people. The second group called the Sadducee. Most of the Sadducees are loyal family and priests. They come from a very high class. They are minority, but they're so powerful. In this council, they have a big impact on the decision. The third group is they call Herod party, mean that Herod is the king over the land, and he sent his people to this council to represent him. It's a small minority, but they have the final say in almost everything too, because they represent Herod, the king of the Jews, in those days. So by the way, that this party, 70 of them represent, or the leader from each tribe, they rule over the people. They can punish people, they can fine people, put people in jail, but they cannot give the capital punishment sentence. They need to send them to the Roman court. This is why Jesus have to be to the Roman court after the Pharisee court or the Sanhedrin court. So they have a meeting regularly. I don't know, the Bible never mentioned much how often they meet, but when special occasion, they call a meeting to make decision. So the people go there and tell them what happened and what Jesus did. And they are not happy. Why? Because more people believe in Jesus now. And it threatened their power. All these people used the law of Moses to govern people, to fine people, and to control people. Now Jesus come to teach the real teaching of the Bible and against their own teaching. So all these people are not happy. And when Jesus performed more miracle. More people follow Jesus now. And this is very threatening sign for them. And they decide that they need to get rid of Jesus. People see many signs, they believe in Jesus and don't believe in them. Now this is just about personal profit. They try to protect, not the law of God, or not or because of their faith at all. But here, in that council, Caiaphas is the high priest of that year. You know that in Moses' time, Aaron is the high priest whole life until he died. After he died, his son became high priest. But in Jesus' time, there's so many priests. So nobody wants anyone to be priest until they die, like the Pope. So now they take a lot and take turn. Who get the lot, like who won the lottery, become the high priest 1 year. And next year they take a lottery again. Who hit the jackpot become the high priest another year. So in Jesus' time, they believe that there are several thousand priests. And everyone wants to be high priest. So this is why they make a lottery. Everyone have a chance to be priest for 1 year. Some will never be priest their whole life, but some have a chance. And everyone claim that they are descendant of Aaron. But in Jesus' time, there's so many of them, too many. And they come to the temple just to make a living, not to serve God. And they don't care much about God or anything. They just care about their income. And here in verse 53 to 54 talk about their plan, what we can do to get rid of Jesus. But some of them say that, well, we have to be careful. And the high priest predict that let one person die for the nation. Don't let the whole country suffer. He predict that in the end, they will get rid of Jesus. And they always claim that to save their country. But the real fact is to save themselves. And here at the end, Jesus just go on, and the next Passover come and another feast. You see that at least 3 times a year, they have big festival in Jerusalem. But in Jesus' time, the leader, the priest, make all kind of festival almost every month. Why? So the people will come to Jerusalem and make money for them. Because when people come to Jerusalem, the first thing they need to do is they need to sacrifice animal for the sin. And the priest sell the animal. The Levi make money out of all the people by exchange the money. When you go to pay for your sin offering or anything, they won't accept the Roman money or any other money that people come from all over the world. They need to exchange with the leader in the temple. They accept only a certain kind of money. You need to buy the money from them, exchange the money for them. They make money that way too. So everything that they do in the temple make them money. So this is how they worry about Jesus, that Jesus will come and take over their power, their living, their money. Okay, now your question and reflection. The main thing about tonight, about this chapter, is about the resurrection of Lazarus and the consequence after that. What will happen? A lot of people think that, oh, now everyone in Israel will believe in Jesus. Well, far from that. Some will believe, but some still don't. Now, the good question is, why don't they believe in Jesus since they see all the miracles? But they still get mad and want to kill Jesus. How could that be? So it just means that all the leader, the Pharisee, the Sadducee don't really believe in God at all. They don't care what God wants. They just care what they want. And now what can reflect to today's churches? Why we have church? So leader can make money, make a living.
The purpose of church, believers come together to worship God.
So God should be everything that we live for and what we do. But why we fight for position or for benefit? Why we fight for fame and power?
Again, a lot of time, some believer or some culture still think that God is in the church. So when they go to the church to see God there or to worship there, but I think that God is in our heart, and our heart is the temple of the Lord.
Mm-hmm. But in the same time, Jesus wanted to get together to help one another, to be part of the body. But yes, not the building, but all the people get together to work, to serve, to worship too. But a lot of time today we miss the point. The church become a building or property or something else, not the people.
Ajahn, is it sometimes we contradict with the Bible when God command us to go out and make disciples, but instead we say go out and bring people in?
Well, we need to do both. When we're going out to make disciples, it also means that they need a place for them to grow. You see that when we preach about the good news, they get saved, but they need to grow up. And they need to get together to help one another. That's also what Jesus wants them to do too. So we need to do both. But I agree with you that most of the time we just do one thing and we don't do another thing. Like Billy Graham traveled the world to preach the good news, to bring people to salvation. But later on, he had to match the new believer with the local church so they can grow. They cannot just let them out there. They will die. It's like a baby. They need somebody to raise them up. If not, all the new baby will die. But the problem in most church today is we don't have baby. We just have old man or woman that we still give bottle to them. No new baby. And Paul said that you should be teacher, but you still need milk. You ever imagine a picture that most churches in the world today, the people who sit on the crib sucking milk are old men or women, not baby, from the bottle. If you can imagine that picture, is scary.
Yeah, I heard a preacher, I think Paul Washer, said that when he traveled to Asia, he saw a man, or some other country, he saw a man, 18 or 19-year-old man, but in America, he saw 30, 40-year-old boy and girl. So maybe, same thing in our church.
Yeah, in our church today, it's a 50, 60, 70. We need to think about all the young people too.
Chan, so what should we do? What did America do wrong?
Well, I think it's a long list. America start very well, but we forgot our past. Maybe because of success and too much blessing. And we think that we can do anything ourselves and without God. You look at American history, it's all based on God and the Bible. But now we're far away from Bible and God.
Yeah, not only far away, but we're against it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a sin cycle, just like the Israelite. Maybe one day, everybody cry out, and then maybe, we'll go back to God.
And today, the group that call themselves conservative Christian try to use politics to divide the church, which I think is wrong. Politics cannot help the church.
And what about if without politics, if majority of the people in office are liberal and they make those laws to control, and how can the Christian, believe?
You know that throughout church history, the church growing and gets strong because we under persecution. But when we have too much freedom, too much power, the church dying. So the secret of American church to grow strong again is we need persecution. You look at the church in China. Under the communists, they closed down the church, put preacher in jail. Before the communists, there are less than 1 million Chinese Christians. But after the communists ruled 60 years, there are more than 100 million Christians in China. We don't need church, we don't need preacher, but the church growing. So the Chinese Christian told America that the only way to revive American church is persecution.
I think now it started. Starting.
We need that. It's like a bitter medicine.
We're going to see the World War III soon, right, John?
I don't know. Anything possible.
Remember that some Christian theologian said, you know, Israel is like the clocks of the world, right? So when it happens, so it's going to be even right now too. When we look at it, you know, it seems like what the Bible said, you know.
Yeah, the book of Revelation already told us everything will happen.
Yeah.
But this is not the end yet.
It might be beginning, right, John?
Yeah. We might live to see them, what will happen in our lifetime. So your group will start working on the project, okay? And in a few weeks, we will start presenting your project in class. If you finish.
Can you talk about the project for this class or the?
Or this class, because we present each project according to class. The effective communication we present in that time frame. But this class, the Gospel of John, we also have project to present too.
Okay, the exegesis, right?
Paper, yes, the exegesis paper.
And look like the Ajahn is the lecture that you've been teaching us. Look like something like that.
Yeah, similar in some way.
Because I see a lot of story and theology and application in there.
You're right. But I want you to select a certain passage and you need to go another step, mean that application. Application means that how you could teach your people how to use that to apply to their life. That's the main thing. Application.
Yeah, sometimes different culture have different application.
So you need to have a target clear. Who is your target group? And how you apply that message to that group through their culture, through their tradition, their understanding. If your target group is a young man or young women or certain group of old people in your culture, so you need to clarify who is your target group and how you apply the message to them. Okay, you have any more questions? Okay, if not, we're going to pray. Loving God, we thank you that what we have learned tonight, I pray that you will help each one of us to know how to apply what we learned for our people, for our group of people that we take care of, and give us the wisdom to live the life that to glorify you every day. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.